So, it seems like the general consensus was everybody was heading towards the house rather than the large amount of detonations and gunfire.
Yeah. Think that'll take care of itself eventually.
One way or the other.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind the opportunity to, if these people are as bad as y'all say, well, I would, might be, worth a try at some point to, smudge a few of them out.
I think it's more of a scorched earth situation. If a few of them go missing, I think the others might retaliate. All or
Hence
nothing.
our plan with the medication to alter it. Take them all out when they get back from their little escapade. Take out the room at once, a little bit of gas in the vents works wonders. They didn't have vents back in the day, they just had trenches, but that's not the point.
You want to use this medicine to gas people.
I don't want to have to do it, but sometimes you've gotta make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have the time to deal with these people on their terms to eventually maybe get what we came here for. So the quickest and most efficient way would be to render them incapacitated and take what we need.
Oh, yeah. I do not disagree with that. I'm just wondering if there's a more permanent solution that can be reached for nasty folks like this. Once you've got whatever object of importance you're looking for.
Absolutely. There's enough evil in the world as it is.
With that, it probably roughly pushing 5 p.m. at this point, if not maybe 6. As you arrive at the neighborhood in South Philadelphia East, as this district is called, you're able to find the house. That finding of the house is immediately punctuated by a rifle round, nearly missing your foot, Awat.
Oh.
But knowing what you do, the voice kind of rings out. That's a warning shot. We know where you guys have been. We're not... And the voice of the father echoes a little bit as very clearly he's yelling from inside the house. We told you it was a trap, and now you're over here, deluded by a sense of wealth. Listen, that new one with you. I don't know who you are or why you're with those people, but I would recommend getting away from them now.
Howdy.
We're not... I assure you, we're not deluded. We've come here to speak with you.
We've come to make a deal that will perhaps lead to the destruction of that club.
And hey,
I just look around to make sure none of them are following us. We're shouting with saying that.
Perception?
Yeah.
A measure of good faith. I'm gonna take the pistol out from my pants, I guess. Throw it on the floor.
that's...
Does not look like anybody has followed you.
Like my associate said, we can talk about something that could be beneficial to us all. I just think it's a conversation best had in private, away from unseen prying ears.
And hey, listen, if you don't want to talk to these folks, if you think they're untrustworthy, well, I just met them, so you can talk to me.
There
Maybe I
is a pause, and then slowly the front door of the house opens up. The man steps out, rifle at the ready, and he goes, "We will talk here. You're not getting into the house."
Completely understandable.
So, let's get to the matter of it all. Those people, as you told us earlier, are quite scum. We see this firsthand, and we've seen firsthand how we can get rid of them.
You may notice that our associate is missing. He's been rather press-ganged into offering his abilities as a surgeon for their various excursions.
He sets the rifle down. You know, if I had more manpower, if my unit was still here, I would have already taken that place.
I think you would have done that all. And I think you would have done your own city a favor. I'm sorry that you lost your unit.
The fall of... Well, not directly related. The fall of Task Force Valkyrie those years back kind of sent a lot of the other alphabet soup agencies scattering. VASCU was one of the ones that held out the longest, in my opinion.
I've heard that name before. Valkyrie. Wasn't that... Who was it? Marshall.
The good doctor spoke of them, yes.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is they have a lot of wounded, and we've heard you have medicine. Now, we aren't going to give them medicine, but something that looks like medicine.
He pauses for a moment. So, you want to drug them to hell and back?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We plan to poison the entire establishment. We come and grab what we came for. The rest is yours. Their weapons, ammunition, food, stockpiles of whatever they have, yours.
The only terms were that you weren't to survive yourselves. Relocating yourself and your family would be part of it as well. I have a thought of how to handle the rest of it.
And what is that thought?
Rather grim, and it's something that I didn't ever see myself doing, was exhuming some bodies and placing them in your house and burning it to the ground.
So, this is one of the more, if this is a lie, this is one of the more believable lies I've been told by that organization. He pauses, and you can see he's chewing on his lip a little bit. A little bit of blood actually trickles down. He's chewed on it enough that he's causing it to bleed.
We're not from the city. If you're looking for safe harbor, there's a group of us in Washington. You're more than welcome to join us. We could always do with able-bodied combatants. We're all, well, I'm sure I speak for everyone. We're more of the academic crowd, I think, is fair to describe us. With the exception of our friend here, and it indicating Edmond.
Hey, academic. I despise these words.
That's what I mean. More of the School of life, education.
I think fire recoils a little bit at is a little bit gives an odd at being called an academic, but
We're basically not acquainted and yet to.
she does smell like a day-old
Right.
boot.
I think we all do at this point.
Yeah. But yes.
So,
In fact, that place is dying. One way or the other. I'm seeing it. I'm starting to see it. All moving around up there. That place over there is dying, and if you help out, it should be easier to make sure that nobody innocent's dying either.
so I'll give you my medicine, or medical supplies. Some of it isn't medicine. You guys will take it back, burn my house to the ground with some random corpses in it, and then poison the well, I think was the term used. And then as my part of what I want once the smoke is cleared. Obviously, I don't want to go in there when the smoke's still about. I want to walk through and personally put a bullet in each and every one of their skulls.
If that's all you ask, then you'll save us the trouble.
That is gonna be dangerous for you. You might want to stay on our heels for that then.
I have ways of surveying the situation. My time in my unit afforded me certain benefits. I can remotely survey locations.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. I want to try that myself.
But
well, I
as
think I
long
speak for all these folks here when I say that's a deal. Sage steps forward, very pointedly.
he's like, all right, well, come on in and let's get rid of these rippers and slashers.
And I don't know if anyone is volunteering to, well, pay the ultimate disrespect to the dead, I suppose, and exhume some bodies. Is there a cemetery around?
Ooh.
No need. There's a dead city.
Very true.
I need to find a rag. I don't want to breathe it in. There are no body bags here.
I'm sure we can find some old sheets or something.
And I've got some inside.
I will refrain from disturbing the dead myself. I would rather not get that sort of bad karma upon my.
If the dead do not want to be disturbed, they would rise up and stop me. Unfortunately, most don't.
That's, well, hopefully we can balance everything out by bringing
Causing
something
more
back.
death. Reminds
Bring at
me
least a few of them back.
Good old. Alas, well, with the good doctor not here, I don't think. I suppose it will, however, fall to me to prepare our medicines as well.
I can contribute a thing or two, but I don't know. I have to admit, I don't know a ton about these modern medicines.
Oh, don't worry. Replacing vials with bottles of bleach, I think, should be more than enough.
So the
Alright.
work that commences takes a few hours. By the end of it, everybody is significantly tired. We're probably talking about 8, 9 p.m. Some of you have been walking for a few. I'm not even going to say a few. An indiscriminate amount of time. While others have crashed planes, been beaten. Some are just old.
Some of us have been stabbed in the book.
Hey, youngins, just keep working.
So, retiring for the evening seems to be the best course.
Where are we retiring?
Essentially in the hunter's house
Okay.
before it's burned to the ground.
All right.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so if most people are simply settling down to rest, out of pure curiosity, Edmond would ask this lead hunter what he knows about strange brain hemorrhages around this area.
Soon as you mention it, he chuckles. A little trick I've picked up.
Is this trick something that can be written? And I am a seeker of all knowledges. After
Or
all,
is it more the sort of, those good herbal things? You make a tea out of it, it turns into a little, brain hemorrhage there? Something physical you can do?
It is something that can be learned. Unfortunately, you're not talking to one of the teachers of it. It's a way that we we used to incapacitate our quarry. My group specifically dealt with others that were like us, that had gone the other way. See, back before he kind of makes a gesture, all of this, some of us stood as guard dogs. However, you stare too long at the darkness and it eventually stares back, I think is the phrase. Some of our kind, some of our people lost their way and decided killing for the sake of killing was just as good. My organization was founded specifically to target those people. Those that decided that shooting a werewolf and shooting a 13-year-old girl were the exact same thing.
In some ways it is.
That is a very, very delicate line to walk. And everybody has to make their own calls. Is that 13-year-old girl an actual human? Is she somebody with minor, let's just call it magic, I don't know, technical terms or anything like that? It's not important. Was she a victim of circumstance? Everybody had to make their own line. However, the line that these people drew, the general populace said it was too far in one direction. So my organization was created. We developed ways to use our brains in unique ways, whether it be as a weapon or as a surveillance tool.
But the fact of the matter remains is I am obviously interested in new schools of, well, of the sciences. As such, I am obviously interested in the methods. That it being an surgical alteration, is it one of the psyche only?
Psyche only out of those two options.
And so it is a difficult branch to learn.
That would seem to be the case. As stated, my organization, it survived the fall of the large organizations when the world started to break down. However, it did break down as well. I've lost good friends. I've lost other family members. Not only to this plague, but also to the maniacs. We call them the Hunt Club.
Hunt Club?
Yeah, it is unfortunate casualties, but just because a group vanishes into the depths of time does not mean their knowledge was not worth investigating. That's how I ended up with this ragtag group.
If you want more information, I would recommend going back. Or, actually, hold up. Did you ever state where you guys had came from?
No.
No?
No.
We just said we had arrived in the city and they laughed at us for crashing a plane.
Okay. I would recommend heading to DC then. That is where Task Force Valkyrie was based out of. We had a branch there. Our HQ wasn't there. Otherwise, it might have actually fallen with Task Force Valkyrie when that whole incident happened. But
perhaps there's likely to be more information at an HQ than a branch.
most likely, but I don't think you're getting to the HQ unless you can do transcontinental travel.
It is something to write in the planner.
Anyways, I think it's better for all of us if we get some rest now. Big day tomorrow.
Seems a fine idea. Enough of this big talk about brains and whatnot. You gotta die tomorrow, so, big day.
He gives kind of a shiver. I wish that was phrased a little differently.
Yeah, then I will let you retire for the evening. I will take another look at our inventory and make sure our concoctions are volatile enough.
So, speaking on that, I'm going to need an intelligence plus, either medicine or science, whichever one will actually work. I could see both working in this situation.
Well, they're both at 1 dot because I
Can I assist?
actually did not think to spend more XP on the matter. So,
What is your dots in medicine or science, Seth?
1 in science, nothing in medicine.
guess we're doing science then.
I think I have a better pool for that. And, so maybe I could help out?
All right, so go ahead and give me your supporting roles.
Okay.
I mean, it's still not great, but,
1 success, 1 my way.
intelligence plus medicine.
Science.
Holy shit! Okay. I've got weirdly good dice.
Well,
2
medicine in this situation is still going to work, so that roll's fine. So go ahead and do your roll at +2. Edmond.
I am going to willpower it. I needed that willpower.
Wow.
Things had a rocky start, but you were able to finish what you had needed to.
What is this file for? How does that work?
Oi,
Uh,
Back
Careful
in
there.
the day, we
What if
just
you don't
used alcohol as the painkiller and the disinfectant.
Oh, what has no medicine or science?
I think Fire's whole assistance there is just kind of standing over there, slightly arrogantly going and smacking when you put the
Get to
wrong
work.
things together, smacking your hand with the little stem of her pipe.
Come on, we're just treading new ground. We need just trying new recipes. Don't. I'm sure it'll work well enough. Just gotta-
by the end of the night,
Edmond.
by the end of the night, the concoction is done. Everything is a go. In the light of the early morning, the rising sun, the rising January sun, is punctuated by the bright red and orange flames dancing as the house burns to the ground.
Well,
This is your element, isn't it, Fire Sage?
Oh yes, it is. Yes,
Is this-
it is.
Is this a title? Were you a sage for some group? What happened to this group?
I'm a sage for the fire. I walked down the plains and I saw the fire light up the heavens, fill the whole sky, swirling around, and I saw what was coming.
did you serve a nom as well?
Saw what?
Never mind. If you are impressed by a single burning building, I would shudder to think what you would think of. Napalm. It's been a while.
Honestly, for the sake of just they want to they're just they just feel like being a little shit a little bit. I think they're gonna try to control fire just to just make it a big fucking thing.
Roll me willpower.
Yeah. Let's see. That'll be one reach for instant, and then at a say -4 for additional potency.
Ooh.
And
Also, while the cult and the good hunter here would definitely classify it as sleepwalkers, the wife and the child are going to be classified as sleepers.
Yay, paradox!
So
paradox.
adding one paradox die.
Yep.
All
And you cannot contain. I know that.
Yes, but when I get paradox, it just fails the roll is the thing. Since I can't actually fuck with the supernal enough to make my own magic. Basically, it cancels itself out when it fucks up.
Just fizzles.
shit.
All right.
Four
So
successes. And son of a gun. Like, yes. Oh, I can feel the fire going good. And then it's just nothing. And you can definitely see disappointment in their face. As they go and they start to raise their hands, ready for some grand moment. And yeah, they just look a little bit crazy instead.
Don't worry. We can torch the club once we're done. It'll be a much grander blaze.
That's not quite time yet. Yes. Yes. It'll come. It'll come.
So, since you're also offering us a place to stay, he kind of looks over and I'm assuming the best place for my family to wait would be the airport.
Absolutely.
Anywhere where you aren't going to be found.
Well, we'll be going back to the airport at some point, so...
Well, after we are done.
Yes.
And after we are done, there will be no one to find you. I hope.
So, both the kid and the wife kind of nod and begin to make their way towards the airport. He slings his rifle over his shoulder, pulls out a very personalized, definitely modified Desert Eagle, for those that know guns. And he goes, well, it's time to cook these guys, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yep.
I'm going to go through the medical supplies and so question to Gandhi here, as
Yes.
what could be filtered in terms of anesthetic? What could be filtered through a system? Could it be filtered through a system and like an air system and dispersed in a building if it was in a?
If you're going to do anything dispersed in a building, you need a gas.
That's what I mean. Yes. So I'm guessing boil it in. I'm
I
guessing
mean, as far as the
liquid.
stuff we made?
I would assume.
Is there anything in the is there an anesthetic which, if released as a gas, would or could be like boiled and released as a gas in a vent?
I mean, there are... That is most, like, surgical anesthetics is gas. That's general anesthesia is gas.
Oh, okay. So, right. Now, question to GM. From the medical supplies, is anything in there an anesthetic? General anesthetic?
Yes, as I believe I had mentioned last session, they had recently raided a hospital that had not been sacked, so they would have numerous tanks, high grade.
Yeah. It was. Did they go to the pharmacy and we've just now got a box of random pills, or do we have some tanks of stuff? Basically,
We've got some pills too, don't worry.
yeah, absolutely.
This guy was obviously quite thorough and at least has some knowledge of medicine, so yes, while the pharmacy was most certainly raided, the actual surgical wings and supply closets and the like were raided as well.
He had a better idea of what to look for.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll be able to give you some kind of signal.
He nods. I will tail you from a distance. Let's just get this done. I don't really relish this.
Neither do I.
Well,
I guess this is do or die.
onward then. No turning back at this point, lads. We're already in the air.
Yes. I'm very curious to see what will come of this. And to see this relic.
That brings up a point. They don't know you yet. They may not let you in. It might be best if you stayed back with the good hunter, or maybe try to introduce yourself and...
I have my own ways of getting in.
I believe the planets align for our newfound friend here. I think some things could be worked out.
Some things can work out. Yes.
All right.
And with that, you guys begin to make the trip back. A dead city is a relatively uneventful trip, so I will not belabor the trip any. It is your guys' decision. Do you guys wish to try and enter, or are you going to try to find an external vent to throw this air conditioning unit or the like?
I reckon go in with it.
Yeah, we still need to probably tell Marshall, like, hey, we're going, play into this. 'cause
It's
he's
happening,
inside
yeah.
the building,
Yeah.
you know.
How delicate do these little tanks look?
They're your standard medical grade tanks, so I
Be
mean,
steel. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so steel. Okay, so they're not, this isn't like glass or something.
No, this is
No.
like for surgeries. They got the big anesthetic tanks.
It's the mask.
yeah, general anesthesia.
Is there an AC unit on the rooftop of this place?
Probably.
Okay. Then I think you folks can go in the front, and I can find my way to the rooftop and slip this into the ventilation through there.
Good luck.
And
Try and give us a sign before it kicks off, otherwise we're going to be among the unconscious.
yeah, I can. Let's see. Do you have beepers?
You sound like the old man here. Yes,
I-
we have phones.
I was just given a pager. I don't know quite how it works yet, but I'm still fiddling with it.
What are those little things that go
Actually,
beep?
give you the pager. Oh Lord. Why don't you page the doctor? Hand me the pager real quick.
I'd say if you're familiar with this, then use the pager. It's probably the best.
Yeah. One of y'all has it, then
We'll hand it to Ed there.
I'm going to page Dr. Brown and tell him that how do I say this in case someone looks at it?
SOS.
Going to tell him that
Medical
this-
assistance is needed outside.
well, no, do we want to get him outside, or do we want to let him know inside that we're going to flood the place with anesthesia? And
I think we're going to flood the. Yeah, we need to let him know. I think that we out of character. I think we agree a time when you release it, so we've got 15 minutes to get through or whatever. Because thinking of something else as well, which might work, and I really hope it does.
pardon?
No, I'm thinking of something else as well, but it requires the thing to be set off.
Yes. And
Did
are
we-
you looking to be inside the place again? Just be clear?
Yeah. So when we saw the first group come back, did any of them by any chance have any kind of gas mask or breathing?
Nothing that you could
Breaking
see.
Bad.
Nothing that you could see, and nothing that Sage could see either. So you don't expect them to have. If they do have gas masks, they're probably very limited.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking, let's see. Are we, doing, like, executing this now?
Why not?
Okay.
I'll page the doctor that plans proceed apace, and we are returning with a delivery. But
You get
perhaps,
We have supplies outside waiting for you.
yeah, maybe he should. If he could perhaps meet us outside, and we'll take in stock of what needs to be brought in immediately.
Yes.
You get a affirmative message from Marshall. However, it does state that he is going to take the back way out, the long way.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go up and Edmond. I can distract them. Can I trust you to do the deed? And I'm going to look at the doorman.
Is that to me?
Edmond with the 9mm.
Oh, we're shooting people. Alright,
The two doormen who are outside.
They know us. They should just let us in.
We don't want to be inside there.
So, okay. Mechanical question for the storyteller, because I just... when are we considering a week to have passed from the incident at the warehouse?
You're
Or the week from the last time I've naturally generated pyros?
you are probably at day 3 from the warehouse, 2 or 3. However, just for practicality's sake, let's just say the week ticks over, and you get a point of pyros here.
2, because I'm at magnitude 2, which means I can do the fun ability.
I'm going to walk up to the two bouncers and say, I'm sorry, I don't know if either of you two have any idea about any kind of medical supplies, but we managed to salvage this from the from downtown, from the rather violent family, to say the very least, and well, we recovered this. I don't know if any of you know what any of this does.
They look at the stuff and they shake their head. I'm no doctor. And actually, at that point, want to ask, Sage, had you already taken your bit up and started heading for the roof?
Yes, I wanted to look for, there's like a fence around the space I've been kind of picturing, or is it, can you just get to the rooftop by some locked off ladder or something?
It would be more of a locked off ladder type. This place, it was a business at one point, so fencing was not necessarily a strong suit of this place.
Okay. Yeah. Do I see any people at the top or something that might be looking around this
No.
area?
This place, despite the front door being heavily guarded, it is not necessarily a true military type compound.
Let's see. I think, I think I'm gonna try to, use my apportation merit, to toss myself up past the locked area so I don't need to worry about, breaking the lock, potentially making some noise there. And, jump up, over to the, somewhere like in the mid area of the ladder, and get up on top.
Okay. Apparition does what again? Exactly?
It is very violent. It's violent, shitty teleport. It is basically kind of yanking yourself through stuff with such force that for each time it's you're apported, an object takes a point of structure damage and has a -2 penalty used for the turn after it's moved from being heated up. And living creatures take bashing damage equal to the number of yards moved.
Okay, so that would be probably... Oh, yards. Oh, no.
Yeah, a yard is like a meter, right?
It's slightly shorter than me, so.
Yeah, so...
Jesus, a bad system.
Yeah, so,
Gonna have a rough landing.
yeah, as you get onto the one, I'll just say go ahead and take 1 point of bashing damage.
Yeah, well, I have to roll also for
Okay.
how, it's,
How high you
resolve-
go?
Yeah, that's for, the amount that you can use. So
Okay.
spend 1 willpower and a coat, and that, determines how many, yards, I can move. 4 yards, okay. So that should be, like 3 meters or so up.
So
It's
if,
3.5 meters.
so
Okay.
if you want to get right on top, you can go ahead. That'd be 3 points of bashing damage.
For the sake of spectacle and not having to grab onto a ladder as I start falling, yes. Yeah, so they rip themselves up, and suddenly all the various metallic pieces on them are glowing red hot from friction as they're kind of violently, looks like they're almost kind of like they were grabbed by the collar by some unforgiving spirit and yanked up there in a blink of an eye. All right. And was I taking a paging device or some sort of signaling thing with me?
I believe that wasn't needed because they had already paged the doctor to get out.
Yeah.
So it's whenever you're ready, essentially.
Great. How's the canisters looking? Are they still intact?
They are. Definitely the paint has been peeled.
Okay. Well, then I approach over to the ventilation system, look for somewhere sufficiently central looking. I'm no ventilation expert though, so
I don't think anybody here's Havoc, so
yeah. But I think I just look for whatever looks like the biggest machine with the most air going through it, and then uncork this thing, set it loose, and then she goes and sits down, crisscross applesauce, and starts smoking her pipe, waiting for some noise from downstairs.
And as you do that, the sound of an exceedingly high caliber rifle is heard.
Okay.
As the bouncer that you were walking up to, Seth, his head legitimately just completely explodes.
Oh, what? Oh, I believe he's giving the signal. What do we have anything? Because was there two bouncers or just the one?
At this time, there was only one. You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Mummy the Curse 2nd Edition Final Hours, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener. And if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, in the fading memories of this dying world, can we discover a way to survive?